What is up, you guys? It's me, your girl, your Casey. How you doing? My hair's really not messy. I had it in a braid today because I went to play volleyball on the beach. Yes, I won. You'd think I show my face on the internet if I came home a loser. I also did a bicycle kick. It was quite amazing.
Ibrahimovic looking for the second chance. Score!
Except now my neck hurts. Okay, y'all, look at the name of this tag. I have a confession, I've not read a lot of fantasy. I just, last year, read the first 3 books in the Store My Archive, and I have the 4th book, I just haven't read it yet. Y'all, in a fit of weird OCD-ness, I've arranged my books, come take a gander, in order from like lowest page count, there you guys are, to highest page count. So now like all my fantasy books are tucked away in the very, very back. And I think my brain plans on reading these books from lowest page count to highest page count. So I'm not going to read fantasy in a while. Why I decided to do this, I don't know. Ooh, but sneak peek at my TBR for July. This is the one you guys voted on. This is Riley Sager's newest book, and I love Riley Sager. And this is my best friend's Exorcism, which is one of my favorite book colors. Take it, colors, book covers. Look at this. It looks like a VCR tape. Golly, I love it. Also, Grady Hendrix, I think. Great Gravy? Anyways, whoever wrote this wrote the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires. Love that. So, oh my gosh. And I think these 2 books are loosely connected, so I had to get this. This isn't fantasy at all. Why am I talking to you about this? Anyways, I had a point to make. I don't get to read a lot of fantasy, because I got a lot of other books clogging up the fantasy TBR. Not gonna lie. The thing that draws me into a fantasy the most is the magic system and the villain. And monsters. Good monsters. What if the monsters is controlled by the villain? Love that. Like Galbatorix and the Razak. Oh, you can bet half of the questions on this tag is going to be related to the inheritance cycle. Since we're talking about fantasy, I should tie my hair back like an elven princess. There, may the odds be ever in your favor, Frodo Baggins. Totally a quote from Lord of the Rings. Anyways, let's get off this rabbit trail. Whatever trail we're on. Let's get into the tag. Number 1, what is my fantasy origin story? Y'all, I don't know. I read books in like elementary school that I have no recollection of reading. So I honestly do not know what got me into fantasy. Like, obviously, I love the inheritance cycle. That was so good.
If you like the inheritance cycle,
why don't you just marry her?
But I didn't read that until like I was like in my mid-teens. I saw the movie in elementary school. Oh my gosh, the Eragon movie got me into fantasy. Y'all shoot me right now. I'm a booktube heretic. No one likes the Eragon movie because it's absolute trash. Trash. I think every movie studio, TV studio, streaming service should listen up. Don't, okay, Game of Thrones people, you feeling me? Don't do a TV show or a movie until the book series is done. Lessons from Casey. And y'all, being doubly honest, when I read Eragon for the first time in elementary school, I didn't like it because it was so thick. And, hi, editor here, and I actually stopped reading it in elementary school because I saw the movie. And I'm like, well, I saw the movie, how different can it be from the book? I'm spilling the tea. I'm revealing secrets. I'm stripping off this false mask I've been wearing. I was not an Eragon lover in elementary school. Now I am. So, my fantasy origin story starts with the crappy Eragon movie. Woot woot. Eon. You know, it was a duology. It had dragons in it. I read those books in middle school. That's probably a good one. Those were good books. Oh my gosh, that love triangle. Okay, y'all, I'm gonna be serious. That duology taught little me that people kissed with their tongues. Younger Casey was not ready for that information back then. I was like, yeah, I'm still not ready for that information. But ooh, it's a good book series. I keep saying series, it's 2 books. It was actually the first duology I've ever read. And I just remember thinking back then in middle school, I was like, just 2 books? That's so weird. Books either have 1 or 3. I was not used to the idea of just having 2 books in a series. It blew my mind. But, okay, so it's Asian-inspired culture. We have these things called dragon eyes. They work in communication with their dragon, like on the zodiac. So we have the rat dragon, the ox dragon. In particular, the rat dragon in this duology is a jerk. I loved him. So they work with their dragon counterpart, and they divert monsoons, make sure the harvest is going good using the dragony powers. But all the dragon eyes, they can only be men because women are evil. But then we have this candidate, this dragon eye apprentice. His name is Eon, but Eon isn't a guy. Eon is actually Iona, and she's female, sneaking into the ranks in order to become a dragon eye. Not only that, but Our Lady in Disguise is also a cripple. When she was a baby, maybe a toddler, maybe a little bit older, but a nice little cart just went crick crack right over her leg. So she walks with a limp, and dragon eyes, they do some sword training. So she's not good. All the other apprentices make fun of her. Also, in their culture, cripples equals evil, just like women. They're not nice people. So they shun Iona. But the only way she can rise is by getting a position as a proper dragon eye, because she needs money or else she's going to be sold back into slavery. That's right. We got a lot of stuff happening in this book. So not only does she have I don't know what I'm saying. Help. So not only does she have to rise above all these people, downplaying her, just like trying to kick her off to the side, cast her away. Not only does she have to hide her true femaleness, but she must also get a dragon counterpart, which is a whole story on itself. Good duology, highly recommend it. Say hi to the prince, the emperor for me. I like him. He's got a giant egg in his throat, literally. Like, giant egg. Right there. That's some serious bling bling. Question 2. If I could be a hero in a fantasy novel, who would be my author and what one trope would I insist to be in the story? Oh my gosh. Who do I trust to give me a good tale? There was a time I would have said Christopher Paolini, but then he went and changed on me. Brandon Sanderson. You can't go wrong with some Brando Sando. He'd give me some good funny lines. He'd give me some good action scenes. I would insist on the dragon trope. The boy in the dragon trope? No, now we got the Casey in the dragon trope. What if the Casey could turn into a dragon? That's even better. I don't want to be the chosen one, though. No, I want to be the enemy of the chosen one. Make me the villain. I want to be Maleficent. Horns, dragon. Give me some witchy powers. Make me a villain. We got any artists out there? Can I get some fan art of me? I'm like, Maleficent? Yes, ooh, I got a staff. Do it, and I'll write my own fan fiction of me to go along with it. Who needs Brandon Sanderson? I'll author this myself. What is a fantasy I've read this year that I want more people to read? The Lies of Lamora. I don't know why I keep forgetting this is a fantasy. I honestly don't. It has all the trademarks of a fantasy. Fictional world, monsters, some magic. Maybe because it's more thievery, like the thieving in the smarticles, the strategy is more important than the monsters and what magic there is in this world. It's not like it's magic, it's just that they're artifacts or things that exist in nature that have magical properties, or at least things that we would describe as magical.
Hi, editor again. While filming that, I totally forgot about the Bonds magi. Magic is basically in their name. Yeah, there's magic in this book. I'm an idiot. Y'all can see my pants up there.
Maybe because it's set as a Venetian-inspired city that my brain thinks it's actually historical fiction, but it's not. Also, it made me cry. Nice. If you want some Oliver Twist with some Six of Crows shenanigans going on, oh my gosh, who would win in a battle of smarts, Kaz or Locke Lamora? I honestly don't know. Locke Lamora, because he always has Jean with him. Jean will punch you right in the throat, especially if you're that emperor guy from Eon and Iona with a big egg in his throat. Imagine getting punched right there. Ow. Number 4, what is your favorite fantasy subgenre? I actually need to pull up a list. This is a 2-part question. I know the other part of the question is, what's a genre I need to get, a subgenre I need to get more into? That's dark fantasy, because it has the word dark in it, which immediately piques my interest. I like misery. Okay, looking over this list, I have to go with high fantasy. That's obviously my favorite fantasy subgenre, because, like I said, the most important things in a fantasy to me is the world building, the magic system, and the monsters. I want the world to just enrapture me, capture me, enrapture me, fracture me, and my heart into a million pieces. I'm not asking for much. I actually tend to despise low fantasy, like thinking about Harry Potter right now. Or, no, that's incorrect. I'm thinking of like hard and soft magic systems. I love hard magic systems, hate soft magic systems, like Harry Potter, and also a Shadow, Bright, and Burning trilogy. Both of their magic systems is literally just pointing a stick and trying really hard. That's it. Hate it. Who is one of my auto-buy fantasy authors? It used to be Christopher Paolini. Now I don't trust him. Is Brando Sando. He's a good Sando. Oh, so does whoever wrote the books of Earthsea count? Because I technically bought all her books at once. Got this for $10. Haven't read it yet. Because look how thick he is. I got this because they made that anime movie, The Tales of Earthsea, and it was fine for like 80% of the movie, but then they tried to pack like all of this into a little movie, and so they really messed up the ending. But I'm interested to see what's going on in here. Oh my gosh, the main villain of The Tales of Earthsea, and I really hope he's in here. He was creepy. His head looked weird, and he talked like this. Just a whisper, like some ASMR video stuff, which makes me uncomfortable. How do you typically find fantasy recommendations? Booktube, Ladoy, also Goodreads. Goodreads would just be like, hey, people who like this, and then I'll read the summary and I'll be like, yeah, that sounds like something I like. You mentioned a sword. I am intrigued. What is an upcoming fantasy release I'm excited for? Okay, so I heard that there's like a sister series to the Caraval trilogy, and it's gonna star my favorite from the trilogy, my favorite character. So I'm excited for that. Oh, and I know it's science fiction, but eventually we're getting the third Skyward book. It's Brandon Sanderson. Of course, I'm going to mention it in a fantasy video. I can't help it. What is one misconception about fantasy you would like to lay to rest? We're not nerds. I mean, we can be nerds, but we're not the bad kind of nerdy geeks. We have social lives. We are competent, independent, beautiful humans who just want to see people fight each other on Dragonback. We're not shut-ins. We're shuddering with anticipation, because there's dragons in the sky. However, one misconception that's actually a conception, like it's for real about fantasy, is that most of the book covers are terrible. If someone had never read a fantasy before and asked you to recommend the first 3 books that come to mind as places to start, what would those recommendations be? Definitely Eragon. I call it the gateway fantasy book because it's not too dense with its magic system and stuff like that. It's easy to understand and it makes sense because it's not just a point-your-stick magic system. It has rules. It has consequences. So that's a good one to start off with. I would not recommend Eliza Locke-Lamora starting off because it literally took like 200 pages for me to get invested into it because it felt like we were going uphill for such a long time. Just like lots of scheming and explaining things instead of action, which I was here for. But 2 others, I feel like I'm supposed to say Lord of the Rings, but I hated Lord of the Rings. Again, you can't go into a forest in Lord of the Rings without explaining every single tree branch. So there, that's 1 fantasy series you should read, and 2 you should not. I'm twisting these questions all up. And that's it, guys. This is really like put into my mind that I need to read some more fantasy books because I'm struggling, honestly. But hey, it just lit a fire. A dragon fire in my bones. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'm gonna get the reading, and you should too. Hey, stay reading, my friends.